I think, because we're a bit older than we started 20 years ago, it might be that we still have appetite. Is that the perception of Fergus and myself in that way? That every day matters and every day is... Fergus wakes up in the morning, his appetite is already ahead of him, and he often knows what he's going to have for lunch because he has a particularly good sense of appetite. The other thing about appetite, hopefully we're just doing this thing of a virtuous circle, if you can get to it, because appetite is also happiness. And the things we've done for years, before Fergus will speak, is that we are very rigorous about what we cook, how we cook it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't change every day and it's very exciting. But over the years, patience gives you customers that want to come for what you do. When they come, if they're coming once a year or just twice a week, they come with appetite. And we like to think they come with a smile. And when you have a customer with a smile, you automatically smile back. So maybe there's a virtuous circle of appetite. People have appetite coming to you, make our staff happy. And then we might talk a little bit later, Rennie was saying about some of our guys stay for a long time, some go away and come back. And hopefully we have engendered in them that fresh appetite of, that's me going on for enough now, but over to Fergus.
We get fantastic meat to the restaurant, straight from farms. But the general public seems to eat, the problem is they seem to quite like the pink meat in plastic that you buy at supermarkets. I don't know why, but there's some anonymous nature to it that seems to tickle people's fancy. But it should be, well, butchers understand their carcass, how it's hung for, and we'll be able to do the inside as well, which we do lots of. We're not bloodlust testosterone kitchen at all. It's genuine fascination with in its extremities. It's not thrift either. It's polite. But you've killed something, it's easy all. But also, you open up a whole can of, lip-sticking, trotters, tripe, which seems to be a word that still sends fear across people's...
Yes. There should be an appetite for tripe because it is a wonderful thing.
But it does an extraordinary thing that nothing else really does. It soothes and uplifts at the same time, which is an amazing thing for food. Normally you've got full, or there was enough. Tripe covers both options.
And the spleen.
Spleen.
We like spleen. That does a magic thing. It has its own appetite.
Well,
when it's emotionally...
It swells when you love. So suddenly, the spleen is a beautiful organ. They're well behaved. Neat. Bad press, obviously. People invading their spleen in the past. But, in fact, it's an organ that swells when you love, which I think is why they have lunch.
Appetite is also enthusiasm. And this element of, and I appreciate there's great chefs here and stuff, but when we use the whole beast, we butcher it. Each restaurant has its chopping board, butcher's block. We take them from nose to tail. They're part of the process. You know, so many restaurants now where the menu doesn't change. Seasonal doesn't mean anything at all. It literally means nothing at all. And they actually just do one station or one thing, or the menu is just a box of tricks that is repeated. And I got into trouble recently when I mentioned someone, he's a very good dear friend of mine, I mentioned Les Miserables in the same sentence. It's very good, but it's the same every night. But there is, so if you want your staff and stuff to go and your boys and girls to get involved, they are involved right the way through. Every day is a new challenge. The set of skills they sometimes don't learn in, you touched on about educating chefs. Chefs, by definition, not the exceptions to the rule, which is him, Wiley, Dave, everybody else here, are naturally that part of the social structure. So where you're trying to educate is just a pipe dream. You've got to go back into education full stop, then find out if they go to, and it's your responsibility, I think, to train these guys and the girls, because it will never be done by the state. They naturally arrive without that set of knowledge, and that's the way it will always be. Hopefully it won't be, but it won't. But the fact that everybody does everything and they take it all the way through, as Fergus would say, You know, if you haven't butchered your animal, how can you know it?
Well,
It comes in a bag otherwise,
well,
in portions. So.
It's a slightly hippy-dippy theory, but you know, the animal's been happy, fed, and as happily killed as possible. Not the happiest, but still. And then we get the carcass in. The chef prepares the carcass, so forms a relationship with it. Almost love it and is happy with it, and cooks it. So it's a cook with love. This love is imbued into the person who eats meat in the end.
You know, that thing about appetite and enthusiasm, and our folks, we are very lucky to have these great set of folk. And I think sometimes they go away, or sometimes they always ask me if they get, there's all this thing we mentioned earlier about Wileys and recipes, and the other thing about, he stole my chef, bastard. And there's that thing that goes on and in fact, our guys, if they do get asked, will come and say, Trevor, you've got 5 minutes, what do you think? And we regard that as a very healthy relationship for them to go. But again, in terms of, and that's because the environment they've worked in, so they do have appetite and they will take on new challenges. And we love it when we go because we have an appetite for other restaurants. And if they've got another restaurant, we can think, oh great, what's somewhere else to eat? So again, so there is a virtuous circle that I'm saying through appetite, enthusiasm, and the way we go about our business through the years, that it kind of makes sense.
My wedding night. And been a long day, getting married, and all that stuff. Flew to Paris, went to Brazil Bazaar, had my pied de poule grillé. My wife fell asleep and just stayed to top off. Soft landing, luckily. And I sat there eating my pig trotter. So, a bonding moment on two fronts. I felt very close to my wife, and I'm quite close to pig trotter. So I've always loved pig trotter. So I'll share it with you.
It's changed now, but you kind of used to get that in the early days, that they expected Fergus to be just covered in blood, and we had a lot of this shit. The only blood we get is burgundy, so we never expected Fergus to become the Henderson, you know, and around the world and things. But we had a clear idea of how we wanted to go about our business and how we wanted to do it, and it's tough. This is about keeping your appetite. Fergus won't back down from a decision about how we do things in the kitchen, and it's right. We had one year when the chattering classes went to Tuscany and the city boys went to France or Florida, and we sort of looked at our business and it went, boom, and that's a cold feeling. Summer's not looking good, Ferg. But you stick through time, you just stick to what it is, and you hold your appetite right the way through that, and you hold your enthusiasm through that, because a good restaurant will naturally take 5 or 6 years.
Appetite. It's, if you look at a pig, we'll have a virtual pig here, you start with its head. Pot roast half pig's head. Most romantic supper for two you ever wished for. Offer your loved one the cheek. Well, romance works for me, doesn't work for you. I was really glad. I just had thought look, romance hasn't died yet, has it? We'll share a pig's cheek with loved one.
I'm sure the other boys, pig's head is a treasure trove of delights. This is one of the most wonderful things. It's always excitement when there's heads in the kitchen. So that appetite, enthusiasm, customers coming and bringing appetite, etc., is a thing. It sounds stupid. It was nearly 20 years ago now. Is the same every day. It is every day brings joy. Every day brings the first gull's egg. Every day brings what did Ben catch last night? And then it's the phone call. Every day brings something that will whet your appetite.